let's hit a massive, everybody involved cons and cons.
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? Traditionally, when we come to this time of the week, we play cons and cons, and we grab a team or a couple teams where it makes sense, like, oh, this team is at an interesting turning point. Let's put them into the cons and cons machine and see what happens. But this is the first time I was sitting around going, I think every team that we have in our possibilities would be an interesting cons and cons today. So we're throwing all three teams, football-wise, from the triangle, ACC teams, into the cons and cons. We're putting the Canes, who were on the ice for the first time today in preseason, into the cons and cons. We're throwing the Panthers, who are 0-2 going into a divisional game, into the cons and cons. And we're going to see how that goes. Now, as always, Dennis, I'm going to let you pick the order. Who are we starting with?
Canes started practice today. Let's go there.
Carolina Hurricanes, what are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? I've got good news and bad news. You always take the bad news first. My concern, goalie.
Okay.
I think this is going to be the thing we track. This is going to be the thing that's talked about often. You hope their job is made super easy, that the newly revamped forwards are scoring a ton, giving a ton of goal support, that the blue line is clicking on all cylinders and making the goalie's job as far as shots faced and everything very easy. But that's the thing to track, right? That's the thing. It's really, been the thing to track for the last few years. And it's where I'm going to be spending my concerns. What about you?
My concern is who's going to be that number 2 center? Who's going to be that second line center? Is it going to be Stankoven? Can he handle it? That's still the major question going forward for me.
As they move towards postseason, are they even on the roster?
It's a good question.
Confidence. What are you confident in when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes? I said this earlier, but it's just nice to say out loud. I'm confident in the top line. Aho centering Jarvis and Ehlers, it just feels good to say. I think that it can, Ehlers' skill set specifically, the speed, the carrying into the zone, all those sorts of things, pairs well with what Aho and Jarvis are looking for. Jarvis, if the health reports that we've gotten with his shoulder are accurate and he's feeling great, I think he could be due for a level up. And obviously I've been, asking for angry Aho. I want him to go out there and be selfish and maybe, he doesn't feel the burden of carrying that line as much with those two. So give me the top line as my most confident beast for the Canes.
Me, confidence is their depth overall. Like the quote-unquote fourth line today was Taylor Hall, either Jankowski or Kotkaniemi centering, and Eric Robinson. That's a fourth line in a lot of matchups that could score. Mm-hmm. And that just their overall depth of their team. And their third defensive pair is Shane Gostisbehere and Alexander Nikishin.
As they were situated today.
As today, yeah. Which, again, their overall depth, I think, is pretty awesome. And if something happens, they got some young guys chomping at the bit ready to go.
It is very interesting to hear, the positive reports out of the prospects. And, there's all, they might be due for a look this year. And I'm like, where? No, I agree.
Yeah.
They've earned the look. It's just there's not looks available right now. But, hey, that's my private jet takes too long to fill up with gas. That is a first-class problem. Where do we go next? What team's next in the cons and cons?
Let's keep it pro. Let's go Panthers.
Carolina Panthers. You can lead off on this one. We start with the concerns. What are you concerned with for the Panthers?
Yes, is my concern. Honestly, going into this weekend, I will say that just now their injuries are piling up, especially across the front because Robert Hunt, Austin Corbett are both out with their injuries. Defensive front, you have Bobby Brown on the injury report today. Turk Wharton not going to be playing. Pat Jones didn't practice for the second straight day. So your depth up front has pretty much now been depleted.
My main concern, there's many concerns, but my biggest concern is big plays.
Yeah.
And I think even if you look at the players that we consider some of the best for the Panthers, Derek Brown, Chuba Hubbard, right? Some of the offensive linemen, even hurt ones like Robert Hunt. They're not big play guys. Like Chuba Hubbard is a really good running back, but he is I'm going to give you 7 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, 12 yards, 7 yards, 4 yards. Derek Brown is I'm going to stuff the run, but they're not I'm going to intercept this pass and return it 40 yards for a touchdown. They're not. I'm going to take this screen pass 40 yards for a touchdown. There's a lot more just good, solid play, and I think they need big plays every now and then.
1 sack in 2 games.
That would be another issue. But some really good edge-setting edge rushers, some really good run-stopping edge rushers. It's like that's valuable, but I need somebody to go do something awesome. I want a highlight play. What are you confident in for the Carolina Panthers?
Throwing the ball to Tetairoa McMillan. That's it.
I have the rookies in general.
Okay.
Tetairoa McMillan, Prince Imuanielon has that 1 sack he talked about. Nick Scorton, some of the advanced analytics for get-offs and things like that, like how quickly he's getting off the line. He's pretty darn explosive. Lathan Ransom made some plays. Again, some of the pro football focused stuff was really high on Ransom. And ETN showed some pop in the return game. I like the rookies that have been given a chance for the Carolina Panthers. With that, we transition to the college side of things. The 3 teams in the triangle, the ACC teams. We'll hit them in confidence and concerns. Dennis, where do we start?
Let's go. We haven't talked really UNC much today. Let's go North Carolina.
I'll lead us off with concerns.
Sure.
Gio Lopez.
Okay.
And it could be an overarching passing game problem, but I'm putting it on the quarterback because you're the quarterback, and that's where things fall. You have to strike fear into the defense that you can attack at anywhere on the field at any point in time in the pass game. And I don't think defenses are fearing that from UNC right now. They're going to be fearful of the first drive. They're going to be fearful of outside the numbers. There's some areas on the field and in the game plan that I think defenses can take their foot off the gas. And until you prove otherwise, they're going to take that attention and put it elsewhere and make it more difficult for your run game, more difficult for your short passing game, more difficult for a few other things. So Gio Lopez needs to show that he has the full bag of tricks, or else defenses are going to continue to key off.
My concern is along the same lines of Gio Lopez. Can they actually throw the ball over the middle of the field? Mm-hmm. That through the first 3 games of the season, you haven't really seen. I know you saw it a little bit more against Richmond, but you're playing an FCS school. How much can I really count on that really getting fixed?
All right.
I'm just being for real.
It's an FCS school who's not even at the top of the F. They lost to Lehigh. And
exactly.
I'm just saying, as somebody that played FCS, the top of the FCS is good, okay? We'll show you.
Yeah, well, they didn't show it on Saturday.
We're not FCS anymore, but that instinctual defense will go away with time.
That's totally fair. But in all seriousness, though, can they actually throw the ball over the middle of the field? Everything, it seems to be outside the numbers to the left for Gio Lopez throwing the ball.
There you go.
Predictable.
Which team do we go to next? Duke or NC State? They
we
play
got
against
good confidence,
each other.
though.
Oh, you're right. We do. That was unintentional, UNC fans. My confidence is ironically within the passing game. Jordan Shipp.
Yeah.
10 catches, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns is a really good, solid first 3 games. But when you consider the passing offense that he's been a part of, right? Just under 450 yards passing total through 3 games. He has 150 of them. That's going to be a really good sign. The 2 touchdowns are, I think, a fourth of their totals. They need to get him involved more often, and I think that could help a lot with our concerns. So Jordan Shipp as a wide receiver is a good one.
My confidence for North Carolina, I think for the coaching staff, having 3 games of tape, like they can actually really figure out, okay, what actually can we do well? At least they have some semblance of what they feel like they can do well, at least in terms of what individual players can do. Again, the competition hasn't been super tough, but the more information you have, the more you can kind of scheme and game plan going forward.
What team are we going to next?
Let's go with, UNC's on the road. State's on the road. Let's go NC State.
You can lead off this one. What's your concern for the old Wolfpack?
That pass defense.
It's same as mine. Pass coverage.
Yeah. It's that pass defense. Wake Forest, we saw them struggle offensively against Kennesaw State to start the year. Early in that first half, they were popping. Mm-hmm. But then the second half, NC State's defense really turned around. Now, is that because Wake Forest really isn't that good outside of DeMond Claiborne running and Robbie Ashford, the quarterback, running? I really don't know. But the concern is still there about their pass defense.
Chris Barnes had a good day. He had a couple breakout plays for Wake. But you're right. Their passing game is not what they're going to face in other ACC games in the pass offense. And even Wake Forest passing offense struck a couple big plays. The 75-yarder led to a touchdown. So And there's multiple ways to fix this, right? If your pass rush gets to the quarterback faster, if your coverage unit is a little bit better, but I just have pass defense as a concern, especially going into a game against Duke where Darian Mensah is third in the country in passing yards. Like, that's a real interesting matchup. What are you confident in when it comes to State?
Offensively, it's their diversity of their skill set in my eyes. So I think they have a really good and combination of their physical size, especially a guy like Justin Jolie and even Noah Rogers. Some of these guys are big receivers, but also they have the speed, the skill, even in the backfield with Smothers. The guy has some shake to his game and that explosiveness, but if you need to pound the rock for a few plays in a row with Duke Scott, you can do that as well. And there's obviously what CJ Bailey can be, a dual threat as a run-pass guy. Just the diversity of their skill set. They can beat you in so many different ways.
I just went with the young backfield. CJ Bailey and Hollywood Smothers. Young and talented is a good thing to have in your backfield. They can both run, right? As Hollywood Smothers said about CJ Bailey, the baby giraffe can run a little bit. Or I mean, that's a joke that only your running back can make. But he said it, and it's funny, and it's true, right? CJ Bailey, he's a tall guy. He can sling the rock, but he can also get out there and beat you with his legs. I think they're going to need, like, Hollywood Smothers, the pass catcher. And they're going to need CJ Bailey, the runner, in addition to CJ Bailey, the passer, Hollywood Smothers, the traditional running back, if they're going to beat Duke. So their backfield versatility there is what I'm excited for. That leaves just Duke football. I'll give you my concern. Turnover margin. -6 through 3 games in the turnover margin. They've only forced 1 with their defense. That'll make defensive coordinators pull their hair out. I read this about it's the Clemson defensive coordinator now, who was the Penn State defensive coordinator, and before that he was head coach somewhere else. He mounts on the wall almost like punching bags, footballs in his meeting room. All the defensive meeting rooms have them because he just wants to instinctively have players every time they walk by him smack the football, punch the football. Every time they see leather, he wants them just knocking footballs. So he has them like mounted to the wall. So as they walk by, right, they're walking in, watch some morning film, boom, punch the football. They're walking in, middle of training camp, boom, smack the football. You need to get turnovers. It's that darn important. So the fact that they're -6 through 3 games, I think that's a big part of the reason why they're 1-2.
To me, it's the self-inflicted wounds. We even saw it against Tulane as well. For example, line up for a field goal, 2 back-to-back false starts on a field goal, and all of a sudden that field goal now pushes wide just a little bit. So it's just, even against Illinois, when I was at that game, it was just, I didn't think the talent level was drastically different at all between Illinois and Duke. I really didn't. I mean, it was 14-13 game at half. It was just Duke's self-inflicted wounds, turnovers being a major part of that.
What is your confidence for Duke?
My confidence is their passing game with Mensah. When that dude can make every throw. Watching him in person, it's like, wow, this guy can really sling it.
I put their offensive line.
Okay.
Just 4 sacks allowed, despite a ton of dropbacks, and they've been behind in games, so the opposing team knows they have to sling it. Just 4 sacks allowed, and they're 5th in the ACC in yards per carry running, and that's without them having like that bell cow stud. They don't have, at least we haven't seen it, a Hollywood Smothers. They've got 4 guys that are all 10 to 20 carries thus far, nobody more than 150 yards. Like they've got like a committee going, and they're still averaging 5.2 yards per carry. When that happens, it's like, well, what's the common denominator? They're all running behind the same offensive line. So I'm confident in their offensive line.